At CoachMe, we conduct a lot of team building programs. And part of conducting team building program is also going to a pre-event meeting, talk to HR, talk to CEOs, talk to management who's actually conducting or planning that team building program, and trying to figure out what they actually want from this team building program. The most common question or curiosity I get from the management most of the time is, does this team building even work? Is it even worth it? Does it actually work on our team as we expect it to? And that's sort of a difficult question to answer. There are reasons why they wouldn't work for your team, and there are reasons why they would. It kind of depends on various things. Let's talk about why they may not work for your team. One of the reasons why it may not work for you is because you may not know why you're conducting a team building program. You're doing it because everyone else seems to be doing it. It's fun. You might learn something out of it, and you don't really know why you're doing it. So that could be one of the reasons. The other reason is you're conducting maybe 2 or 3 hours of team building program or a day of team building program, and your expectations are really high. You want a facilitator to facilitate for 5 or 6 hours, and the changes you expect are massive improvements in communication skills, proactiveness, leadership skills, or improvement of office culture just in 5 or 6 hours. Right? So these kind of expectations are very hard to meet. And to be honest, it could be that management is basically offloading their responsibilities onto the team building facilitators. So these expectations are not realistic. Another reason why it may not be effective is because the management or the CEO or the HR has already diagnosed the problem. So pre-event meeting, you call the facilitator in and you're basically announcing to her or him what your diagnosis is. My team's not effective because they're not working hard enough. They've got too much free time. There's too much office politics involved. There's two staff, I think, are the problem makers. So you've kind of figured out everything. So you're sitting there in a hierarchical chain at the top, and you're acting like you're not the problem. So basically, what the management is saying is, we're not the problem, the staff are. You see, they're already us and them even before we start a team building program. Right? So the management is not going in with an open mind, with an intention to listen to your team, to actually understand your team, understand what makes them work, what makes them feel motivated or proactive, right? What drives them, what are their values? So that could be another reason. Another reason is your organization doesn't have a clear, defined values that your company follows. Right? That could be another reason. Your staff, your team members don't know what they're expected to do, what kind of values they're expected to follow, and why. And even if you may have a predefined values, maybe your team doesn't feel ownership to those values. Another reason why this may not work is because the only reason you're doing this is because you want the staff to like you. Right? You don't want to challenge them on a retreat. You don't want to question them. You don't want any pressure on them as well. You just want everyone to be happy and to like you for it. So if you're conducting a program or a retreat program or a team building program hoping that everyone likes you, it is very unlikely you will create an effective team building program with the help of the facilitator. Right? You're just trying to make things easy for everyone. Everyone will stay in their comfort zone And honestly, that's where you want them. Now, why would it work? Why would it work? One of the reasons why team building can be very effective is, especially if you do it outside of your office, is just to break the pattern. We spend a lot of time in our office. I mean, office is where we spend most of our time. And we get into a pattern of things. We have certain habits that's built into our muscles. A lot of things we do in our office is autopilot. We're not thinking, we're not reflecting, we're not very aware. We just go into the office in an autopilot mode. So when we take them out of the office, same team, but in a different environment, the pattern is broken. So when the pattern is broken, you're outside of your comfort zone, and it's much easier to see, self-reflect, and to come up with a solution. So that's one of the reasons why team building can be very effective. The other reason why it could be effective is if there's some motivation during a team building program. You go back to the office, it's very easy to fall into the old pattern, old habits, old autopilot thing, because you're back into the old environment. It can be effective if the management puts in a little bit of effort to follow up, to keep the staff accountable, so that the pattern is broken again and again until a new pattern is formed, new habits are formed. So an effort is required in follow-up if you want the team building to be effective. We can't just organize 2 days of team building and expect the whole mindset of 4, 5 years, 6 years to change overnight. Motivation is there during team building. A sense of freshness, a sense of newness is there during team building. But that's also because most of the teams are away from their usual environment. But as soon as you go into the usual environment, you go back to your old habits. You fall into your old habits. A clear example of this is also like even at your home. If you notice, when you go to bed every night, you sleep on the same side of the bed. It's easy to repeat the pattern. If you repeat the same old pattern, you don't have to think about anything too much. You don't have to keep making new decisions, right? So patterns are a useful way of reducing the load on your mental process, right? So an effort needs to be made to follow up, to make sure that the team building is effective. And it can be effective if the management goes in with an intention to listen, to understand, with an open mind. It can be effective if the leadership decides to step back a little bit and be an observer for a change, not manage everything. Be an observer and see who steps up when you're not around, when you're not making decisions, when you're not solving all the problems. A lot of times we think our team members are not proactive because we don't let them become proactive. We're managing everything, we're making all the small decisions, and they don't have to. And if you don't have to make decisions, you're most likely not going to make any. And sometimes management wants to package team building program as a team retreat or a picnic where everyone's coming together and just having fun, chilling, and team building programs at the same time. So it's very important to give it a structure, why we're doing this, and also have separations between team building program, formal team building program, and a bit of a picnic or a party at the end. That's more effective. So these are some of the reasons why team building can be effective for your team, but also why team building may not be effective for you. Maybe it's not something that's suitable for you. But if you're looking for team building to get a certain specific outcome for your team, talk to your facilitator. Do not hide things. Be very open, vulnerable to your facilitator. It's important that the facilitator is someone that you trust. Maybe you need to have a NDA signed between you and your facilitator. But it's important to be very open about what you expect out of this program. and let the facilitator come up with a design that suits you best, right?